All right, so this is passage 2. It's called A Woman of Courage and Conviction. I have read this passage many times and trust myself. So I'm not going to read it right now. If you would like to read it, you can push pause and do your thing. You push the audio button. Whatever you want to do is cool. If you have read it and you need a refresher, it's about a girl named Keisha. She wrote an essay about Rosa Parks. She goes to an assisted living center. There's a lady named Miss Watson. And stuff happens. Typical fiction story. Has a theme. Everybody learns something about life or whatever. All right. Question number 7, which sentence best summarizes paragraph 3? So now we're almost back to normal here. The whole paired passage stuff, that's one thing where like the comparing and contrasting. These are the ones like this is your old school like fiction story. Go answer some questions about story, man. This is the one like this is like I know an analogy. It's like you're playing Mario 1 and you get to level 4-1 and it's just so easy. And you're just like pop, pop, pop. Like you get a fiction passage, you're just like, yes. Alright, so which sentence summarizes paragraph 3? Alright, paragraph 3 says, I finished a minute ago, Mom, Keisha answered. Don't worry, I won't be late getting to the assisted living center. I just had to put some things in my backpack. Keisha pulled down a collection of Maya Angelou's poetry as well as a book of funny anecdotes. She liked to be prepared with a selection of literature to read to the center's residents. On an impulse, she added her English notebook as well. Alright, so, I mean, this is just easy peasy. This paragraph was not about her doing her homework. She did take her English essay, though, so I'm not going to cross that out. Choice C, Keisha's gathering reading materials. Yeah, that's pretty good. Keisha assures her mother that is a real thing that happened. So now when we're talking about summary, right? The summary is like what happened in the thing. So the overall who, what, where, when, why of the thing. That's what we talked about, the big 5 questions. Keisha is gathering a bunch of materials. That summarizes the whole paragraph. Her English essay is just one little thing that happens in the paragraph. Being on time is just one little thing that happens in there. And I just thought about this now, like my 4-year-old is getting really good at like paying attention when we read a story together. We're not really good. Like he's my kid, so he's never going to be that excellent at paying attention, but like he's getting better at paying attention. And so when we read a story together, like he'll be able to pick out specific details pretty well. But if you read like a book, if you're like, you know, let's say we read Dragons Love Tacos 2, right? And somebody just asked him, what's that book about? He'd be like, a time machine, maybe, because there's one cool little aspect of it that has a time machine or whatever. But a real person who's older and more developed as a reader would be like, not that my son's not real, but you know what I mean, it's 2:04 in the morning, give me a break. A more developed reader would be like, it was a riveting tale of dragons traveling back in time to save tacos. Great book, by the way, the Dragons Love Tacos series. Highly recommend them. But yeah, so don't give me a minor detail, give me a full summary. Alright. In paragraph 4, the author's word choice conveys a mood of Keisha ran down the stairs, poked her head in the kitchen and said, I'll be back by 5:45, Mom. See you later. Keisha grabbed her jacket and ran out the door. She had to jog the 3 blocks to the center to make it by 4:30, where an hour of volunteering began. Alright, so she's not confused. The other 3 all sound kind of decent. This is just like a connotation thing. Like, where we talk about, like, and we'll see that again, the connotative meaning thing. She's urgently trying to get there on time. Because if you're panicking, you're like freaking out. Like, this is a routine thing. She goes there all the time. She's going to get there, you know. Now, some people live their lives in a perpetual state where they're like panicking every single morning, but you should just get up and go to work with a sense of urgency, I guess. And she's not desperate. That's just kind of a vocab one, y'all. But if you see what I did there, I just crossed out the ones that didn't really make a lot of sense, and then picked what I thought the best answer that was conveyed logically was. Usually, too, based on like our achieved data, y'all get questions. I mean, that's more of a fiction concept than a nonfiction. But the questions are just sort of like logical, connect the dots like that. You guys do pretty well with those, so I think you'll be fine. All right, number 9, the purpose of the figurative language in paragraph 8. Scoop-a-doop-doop. All right, so the first thing I gotta do here is I gotta know what figurative language means, right? So figurative language is all that non-literal junk. It's like similes, metaphors, hyperbole. There's other ones that I'm being a terrible English teacher and only listed 4. You know what I'm saying, personification. Kids always want to say like anamorphism or something. I just say that's cool. Make animals talk. Yeah, sure, dude. Go for it. Everybody loves that one. It's just cool. It's going from cartoons to literature. All right. So I'm looking for somebody that's not literal. She walked at a quick, determined pace. Yeah, that's cool. She knocked on the door and heard a strong voice. Strong is just an adjective. The door stuck stubbornly. Huh. She should have heard the hanger no. There we go. I was worried I wasn't going to find it. But if you see where it says piercing brown eyes, right? Piercing means literally like ow, like poking you, right? Eyes aren't really poking her. So what's the point? All right, so this is a narrative thing. Let me make sure, because I didn't just read it. At first, yeah, Keisha doesn't even read her essay until like paragraph 17. So, honestly, if you were to click A there, you did not go back and read it super carefully, or you just got confused or whatever. Keisha's feeling toward Miss Watson. Nah, it's Miss Watson's eyeballs. They're staring at her. And again, go pause if you want to go actually read it, if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. But I'm just looking at it logically. Like, this girl, Keisha, walks in the door. Miss Watson is staring at her with these piercing brown eyes or whatever. So the eyeballs aren't like how Keisha's feeling. They're how Miss Watson's feeling. Keisha's attitude about volunteering. Nah, it's not Keisha's eyeballs. Yeah, and this is Miss Watson's first reaction to Keisha. Was just staring at her. So again, you're going to see, I think the more normalized these questions get, like the fiction questions and stuff, you're going to see a lot of just this process of elimination from me as I go through here. All right. Read the sentence from paragraph 9. Sorry, I was checking my chat there. All right, so again, reminder, and I've said this to you guys, but I don't know who's seen what, who remembers what. They are not going to underline these words on the test this year. So on the real test this year, where it says, in paragraph whatever, what's the meaning of the word belligerent? We're going to highlight it, or we can highlight it there. All right, so Miss Watson's staring at her. She's not staring at her like to be familiar. She's being pretty hostile. Miss Watson's a pretty strong, powerful lady, emotionally at least. She's not weak. Overly exaggerated, that's kind of whatever. I just plugged it in. The lady's being hostile toward the kid. Well, almost. Don't worry. They'll get along in the end. Alright. I like undoing my highlighting too. Alright, which two words are synonyms for anticipation in this paragraph 15? Alright, so this is one. Does the answer eliminator actually work on this one? Yes, it does. Alright, cool. Sometimes the ones with little boxes, the answer eliminator thing doesn't. Oh, how do I uneliminate? Crud. Okay, cool. Good. So you know if I want to eliminate that. Yeah, sometimes with the boxes, the answer eliminator does work, and sometimes it doesn't. So hopefully they're improving it to the point where it works more than it doesn't. That would be cool. All right, which two words are synonyms for anticipation? Anticipation. It's making me wait. That's an old song. All right, she glanced at Mrs. Watson to see what kind of reaction she might have, but to her surprise, Mrs. Watson's face had relaxed and her eyes shone with anticipation. All right, so this is a weird question, but so. All right, Miss Watson's eyes are like shining. This is the part of the story where Keisha's like, oh, I wrote a thing about Rosa Parks. And Miss Watson's like, oh, word? That sounds cool. And so we're just going to plug them in. Her eyes shone with expectation. She's like expecting Keisha to start reading. That kind of makes sense. Shown with devotion. Now you gotta know what devotion means to know that that doesn't make sense here. Devotion is like you love something or somebody you devote. You need devotion. That's another old song too. That's a good song. Earth, Wind and Fire. That's the best band I've ever seen live. Like objectively, like at doing their thing, Earth, Wind and Fire just absolutely kill. What a show. But anyway, like Miss Watson's not like devoted to Keisha here. She's just listening to her read an essay. Hope might kind of work. I hope this is good. We'll leave it for now. Relief. Nah, relief doesn't make any sense. You'd be relieved if you're like, oh, I'm so glad that girl's done reading the essay. That was the worst thing ever. But Miss Watson's the one that, like, actually, you know, she's relaxing and she wants the girl to read the essay. Sincerity makes sense. Like, that she's being sincere, but it's not a synonym for anticipation. So we came back around to the fact that hope actually is one of our right answers. All right. So expectation and hope. I think expectation's a way better synonym than hope, but I guess they wanted you to click too. All right. Which statement by Mrs. Ellis implies Miss Watson can be difficult? So any of them that say they imply something, these are the ones that are asking you to make an inference. I have the song Devotion by Earth, Wind and Fire stuck in my head now. Alright. We have a new resident this week. She's still adjusting to her new surroundings. So the key thing here, I'm going to highlight Mrs. Watson can be difficult. So that's what I'm doing, right? You know, we've done all this stuff with making inferences this year where you guys read a text, you fill in the gap, you're like, it's like the mystery solving we've done, you know? So we got to come up with a conclusion that Miss Watson can be difficult. Like adjusting their surroundings doesn't mean she's difficult. I'm not going to cross it out, but her name is Ruby Watson, and she's lived in Alabama all her life until now. I'm gonna cross out because unless you just literally hate people from Alabama, like then that would just be. Unless you're just like, I don't know. Yeah, unless you're anti-Alabama, that makes absolutely no sense. So I guess you could read it as though she's new to the area or whatever, but that's whatever. Her only daughter lives here in the city and wants her mother to be near. Now, that's a positive thing. Oh, crud. I meant to use the eliminator, not the pointer. Oh, there we go. I can't imagine. That's one thing. When I started taking these tests myself, I'm glad now that I let kids like what y'all are going to do in class tomorrow and what you did today, where I give you the chance to just play around with the software of the test. I'm glad I give you time to do that you want, or that you can do it from home on your Chromebooks or whatever. Sometimes it's stuff like I swear I click pointer like 3 times there and it's just killing me. Oh hey, Miss Ellis says, hey, good luck. Why would she say good luck to you? Because you're going to need it, because Miss Watson can be difficult. Alright, so this one is another one where you just have to evaluate every single choice. These questions are as hard as you make them, I think. So let's just do each one. Alright, so when Keisha walks in, when she first meets Miss Watson, let's get to that part. So she's at home. Yeah, okay, so this is the part where Keisha, when she first meets Mrs. Watson, Keisha started to stumble over her words as Miss Watson stared at her with a belligerent gaze. So Keisha is worried and concerned. I've seen kids miss this before in previous years because they thought they just like read it too quick or read it backwards, and they put irritated and bothered in there because they were putting the words that describe Mrs. Watson, not the words that describe Keisha. So just make sure you pay attention to that and read it carefully. All right, after she reads her essay, Miss Watson's face, Miss Watson is happy. Keisha is hoping her voice wasn't shaking with the emotion she felt. That's alright, Keisha. Like, you can be emotional. Like, it's cool. This was a cool thing, man. Like, you met this lady that walked with, like, Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King. That's sick. Like, it's alright to be emotional, Keisha. But anyway, the emotions she was feeling were relief that Miss Watson liked her essay, and she was proud of herself for how good it was. None of the other ones really made sense except maybe joyful, but she wasn't really energetic. And the part where it says she's hoping her voice wasn't shaking with emotions, like she's trying to like keep her cool. She's just proud of herself. All right, which of it is part of the resolution of the story? Alright. The resolution's the end. That happened at the end. I'm gonna click it, but it's like smacking us in the face. Like next Thursday. Let's just check that. Mrs. Ellis tells Keisha to visit. I think this one is not that hard. They're just making sure we know resolutions at the end. Yeah, cool. Alright, that was so easy. I thought it was going to be tricks and there were going to be like wrong answers that were kind of almost right. Like Mrs. Watson and Keisha had a scheduling conflict on Thursday, so they rescheduled for Tuesday or something. Nah, that one wasn't a trick. That one was super easy. Alright, good stuff. The implied main idea. Alright, so implied means you got to infer it. Main idea means like what's the point of the thing. All right, A, people should value relationships with family members. Are Keisha and Miss Watson related? This is where if I were at school Friday, all the kids would be like, no, they're not related. Cool, so are they family? No. So are they a relationship with family members? No. Cool, we cross out. First impressions of people can be misleading. I can like hear the voices of the kids in like, right now I'm mentally in my B3 class. No offense, B1, but I can just hear the voices of some of those kids that would be like, well, yeah, at first the lady didn't like her, and then at the end they were cool. And then I would do the thing where I'd go, that sounds pretty good, but let's not click on B yet. Let's be good little test takers, and we'd keep going. I mean, C's good. It's good to volunteer or whatever, but I don't think that was the whole point of the story. Older people have interesting stories to tell about their past. Again, that we only learn about the old person there. We don't learn about Keisha. The main idea of the story, though, is like Keisha and Miss Watson both had first impressions about each other. They ended up not being fully correct. Oh, we are at another exclamation point. That means we are good to go. That means we can review this, but when we click next, we are moving on forever. Alright, and I'm going to cut the recording. And then I'll be back in a second with video for the other passage.